In this menu we can select which analysis we want to perform, among other options. After performing the pushover analysis, it is possible to display the response in terms of deformation, as a post-process. Specifically, from the Properties panel on the right, in the main screen, access the Response tab and from the drop-down menu select the desired pushover analysis, or the modal analysis. Select the options Modal and Mode 1. As it can be observed through the deformed shape, only the in-plane stiffness contribution of the walls is considered. This is due to the fact that usually masonry structures are characterized by box behavior. We are considering a two-dimensional behavior that accurately represents most buildings. The out-of-plane behavior of the walls can be checked after the global analysis, as we will see later. However, it is also possible to opt for a three-dimensional model, despite it is mainly devoted to other types of structures, such as towers, churches, chimneys, etc. Mode 2. In Mode 3, we enter the Details window through the Details button. Use the Analysis drop-down menu from the Response tab to select the Pushover plus X mass analysis, so it displays on screen the response in terms of deformation. The pushover analysis curve is displayed in the tab on the right, from which you can select the step with respect to which you want to display the response. The analysis step can also be selected from the step command by moving the cursor with the mouse. We display the legend, which is activated by the command located at the bottom left of the information bar, and analyze the response in terms of deformation. The macro elements that are cracked or collapsed due to shear, and crushed portions and compression, are highlighted. We move to the last step of the analysis and observe that the shear failures were concentrated in the spandrels. That's where the collapse is concentrated in the facade wall. On the opposite facade, however, the shear failures were concentrated on the first level, in the piers. In the same way, we read the response in the Y direction, selecting the Pushover plus Y mass analysis. Once the pushover analysis is selected, we select the step, the last one on the curve, and read the response in terms of deformation, that is, we visualize the failure mechanisms of the masonry in our model. Let us proceed to the building's vulnerability estimation. In the toolbar, we select the Pushover Curves and Vulnerability Assessment command. From this environment, we can check the capacity curves and perform the seismic vulnerability estimation, that is the seismic verification of the building, for each performed pushover analysis. In our case, we have only performed 2 pushover analysis. The results are summarized in the grid shown here. A positive result, meaning that it meets the vulnerability estimation requirements, is shown in green. And a negative outcome, that is, one that does not meet the requirements, in red. The used verification methodology consists of determining the displacement demand that an earthquake with an intensity that corresponds to the considered limit state requires from the structure. This required displacement will then be compared with the actual displacement of the structure, obtained from the pushover curve, when the same limit state is reached. Double-click on one of the boxes to access the vulnerability estimation window related to this pushover analysis. The capacity curves are displayed at the top of the window. A curve is displayed for each model point. The program automatically takes the model points at the center of gravity of the slabs, if these have been defined as rigid slabs. The selected capacity curve is the green dashed one and is the one used to estimate the vulnerability of the building in this pushover analysis. At the bottom of the window there are 6 tabs. The first one refers to the limit state criteria, that we can edit by clicking on the Set button. The Control Point Curve tab displays the list of model point for each seismic level. When selecting a model point from the list, the corresponding capacity curve is highlighted in the upper graphical area. The program automatically selects a control point coincident with a model point of the last level. The user can edit and customize this choice. To perform the vulnerability estimation, it is necessary to refer to a control point, usually chosen to coincide with the center of gravity of the last floor. To customize the control point, first choose a seismic height from the list on the left and then one of the model points from the list on the right. After choosing the control point, the reduced system curve and the equivalent balance are determined based on that capacity curve. The Reduced System Curve tab displays the gamma modal participation factor. It is possible to customize the gamma factor calculation method for that analysis by selecting it from the drop-down menu. This produces the equivalent single degree of freedom system curve, STOF system. This curve is the one shown in black, which is superimposed on the two curves below, the capacity curve corresponding to the selected control point, shown in gray, and the reduced system curve shown in blue. At the bottom are shown all the parameters that characterize the three curves, the capacity curve, the reduced system curve and the STOF system curve. The Limit State tab shows the capacity criteria considered for each limit state. In addition, it is possible to include all limit states in the estimation or to exclude some of them. Finally, the Vulnerability Estimation tab. The graph shows, for each limit state, the comparison between the displacement capacity of the system and the displacement demand of the earthquake. In the case at hand, for the SD, we observe that the displacement capacity is 2.36 centimeters, allowable displacement in the limit state, while the displacement demand is about 1.66 centimeters. Therefore, the verification is fulfilled, since the capacity exceeds the demand. The safety coefficient is given by the ratio of the two displacements and is equal to 141%. The other verification, shown on the right side of the screen, is a verification in terms of forces. The base shear is compared with the base shear of the equivalent system. In the drop-down menu at the top, select Another Analysis. Plus Y mass and view the result of the vulnerability estimation for this direction. We note that the verification in terms of displacement capacity is not met. In fact, the displacement capacity of the structure is lower than that required by the earthquake. Therefore, the ratio between capacity and demand is less than 100% and the verification is not met. Also for this analysis, we can visualize the capacity curve for each control point. See the curve shown in the graph and shaded in green. It is possible to change the capacity curve, that is the control point, by selecting one from the list of model points. In doing so, the vulnerability estimation will be performed from that capacity curve. Access the event log window. The capacity curve is displayed and it is possible to check everything that is happening in the structure for each step of the performed analysis, showing the events associated with the failure or plastification of the elements, panels and bars, which occurred during the nonlinear analysis. The window consists of a summary tab at the top, the command bar where it is possible to select the analysis, the events table on the left, the capacity curve graph on the right and the events bar at the bottom. For the selected step, when the limit state is reached, the corresponding event is read from the event table and can be displayed in the main environment by clicking on the corresponding command. Then, let's return to the event log. Let us scroll, for example, through the event bar at the bottom. For example, shear deformation of a panel. Or we identify the inclination with respect to which shear failure occurs in a panel. Once the step corresponding to a limit state has been selected in the event bar, select the event in the event table and then press the command Show in the main windows. This command returns you to the main window and allows you to display the deformation in that analysis step under consideration. The same applies to the ultimate limit state. Select an element of the model. For example, a macro element of the wall shown here, and access the wall response using the corresponding command in the command bar. We visualize in the central graphic part the selected wall, and in particular the macro element, in the previously selected analysis step. Let's click here to display all panels. The response of all macro elements from the selected wall is displayed in the graphic area. The state of the diagonal springs of each macro element is shown. Gray represents the elastic state, orange color, the springs in plastic phase, and red, the collapsed springs. Let us observe the state of the diagonal springs as we proceed step by step in the analysis. Initially, all springs are in an elastic state. First, plastification. See the springs highlighted in orange. Plastification is concentrated on the spandrels. Proceeding to imminent collapse, the diagonal springs, that is, shear failure of the panels, collapse along the length of the spandrels. See the springs indicated in red. Let us move on to the spring/sections mode. This mode allows you to select individual springs, diagonal or interface, to display their response. This procedure allows you to display the load displacement curve for the selected analysis in the Graph tab. After selecting the spring, we show in the Graphic tab the graph of the spring and its status, red dot in the graph, at the selected step. The status and the point of the graph are updated step by step. We go back to the undeformed configuration, and, in the check menu, we select the out-of-plane checks command. The out-of-plane kinematics verification environment is accessed. The environment consists of a graphic area in which the plan view of the building for the currently selected height is displayed. The results of the verifications are displayed on the right side. To perform the verifications, click on the Run command. Let's see the details of the SD verification. We select the row corresponding to the verification of wall 4 and click on SD. The mechanism with the lowest safety coefficient with respect to the selected limit state is shown. In particular, the most unfavorable kinematics is identified, which is the one shown on the right, and the lower part of the sheet shows the values assumed for the demand spectral accelerations and the acceleration capacity for the block at the base, and for the block at the top. On the other hand, the graphic area shows the response spectrum plot for the considered limit state, the capacity of the wall, dashed line, and the range of demand spectral accelerations that satisfy the checks, and the value of the acceleration demand. If the value of the acceleration demand is less than the capacity, dashed black line, then the verification is satisfied. This is not the case for us. In this particular case, the graph is of little importance. Let's see how to proceed with the retrofitting, such as tie rods and connections. We go through the navigator to the upper floor, selecting the command plan at level, from 6.8 to 10.2. Select a plan line, as the program reminds us with a warning message, and access the section dedicated to editing tie rods and connections. This editing environment consists of two graphic areas, in which the wall and the section corresponding to the selected plan line are represented. We select the desired level in the section view, and the floor line in the plan view, and add a tie rod. Then we edit the tie rod, changing its direction and also the position, using the graphics area. Let's move on to another floor line and proceed in a similar fashion. We performed the verification for this wall. In the current configuration, we observe how the mechanism has changed in the presence of the tie rods. By clicking on force position, we have additional information about the forces acting on the wall. The stabilizing action of the tie rods is shown in black. Details of the verification after applying the tie rods. Positive result. We accept and close, we check again, and wall 4.7 is verified.